الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا محمد النبي الأمي وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. Dear brothers and sisters, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome all of you, wherever you are, and welcome you back with the second portion of the Fatwa Life that comes to you on Monday, on the 6th day of the Hijjah from Mishka Center. The first question: if there is two have partnership in one shop, and one of them he bought air condition with very cheap price with his own money, and he had choices. He could take it home or take it to his shop. So he chose to take the shop for a different reason. If he put it in there with the price of the market, not with the where he makes some money from his partner after he divided with him, is there something haram in that? Forbidden. You should not start a deal for yourself with your company without the knowledge of your partnership. You're not supposed to make a deal to yourself with your company without the knowledge of your partners in this, because there's an accusation. That's why the scholars they said a representative cannot sell to himself. If I made you a representative for me to buy it, you cannot buy it for yourself because there is conflict of interest. I want you to get the best price, and you are buying for yourself, so you have the cheapest one. So there is a conflict of interest here. So the scholar said you cannot buy for yourself or sell for yourself. And if it happened without their knowledge, then you are a representative of the company, meaning you have to do the best deal for them. And on the other side, you are dealing with it. And that's mean you have to take the best. You are having two hats, one as the one who sells and one who buys. And each one has a different interest, and you cannot represent both interests. That's why the partner cannot sell to himself or another company that he has interest in or a share, unless the other partner knew and they agreed. It's a very simple solution. Tell your partner, tell him that you bought it for this man, and I bought it very cheap, and I said I want to sell it to the company with this. If you agreed, that's fine. Otherwise, I'll take it home and it's over with. Ibn Qudama said, buying to himself is not allowed. And also, the one who is representing, and this is in the Shafi'i madhab as well, and the one who is taking the guardian on the orphan's money, he cannot buy from the orphan's money for himself. The other one from Ahmed, they can buy two conditions: that he need in the calling. Let's just say you do it in a it has declared in the public, so you took what is better for that is wanted to be sold. The other one, someone else is gonna make that declaration, so you don't stop the auction only on the money that you want. The scholars, they are in the best guarding themselves, especially when protecting the weak, like the orphans and the deals between the partners should be based on transparency and truthfulness, because the Prophet ﷺ said, if they are truthful, then Allah will uh, bless their sale. So the matter is very simple. Just tell your partner that's what you did, that's what happened. I bought it with this price, and this is a it's a steal. It's very cheap. I can take it to my house, but I brought to bring it to the shop. With that, I want to profit with it, this and this. If he accepts it, for if not, take it home. It's simple. If you did that, do you want your partner to know, or you want to do it behind his back? What you don't want people to look at, this is the ithm. The ithm is what bothers you, and you don't want people to look at or talk about or know. Second question, I want to know about taking the zakah. For a zakah in hospital, this is a government hospital. Most of the people who go there are the poor, and they need some equipment. Can you do that from zakah? The zakah that is obligated, there is a very clear avenues Allah mentioned in His book. When Allah said about the charity or the zakah is to poor and needy, those who work on it and soften their hearts, and the prisoners of war, and to the end. And Allah is very knowledgeable. And it will take it from the rich and take him back to their poor. There is no chance for it who is rich or those who are capable. And the thing is, you don't just give him a little bit, you give him enough, you own it, and he is the one who decides on what he does with it. You want to eat, you want to dress, you want to pay rent, that's his issue. Don't assume that you have to deal with him in his place. So the zakah is given to those who deserve it. And the zakah should not be getting in the public hospital unless it has a section for the poor and needy, different than others, and it has different account. Maybe at that situation they could have that permission to go from the general and so this way you'll specify what Allah mentioned in the Quran for the avenues of zakah. Some people, they send the adahi to their own home countries, and some they do after Eid. The one in Israel, he did not even pray. Is there any problem with that? There's nothing wrong with that, because the time of the representative, not your one who is paying for it. Like you are praying Eid here, you pray to Mecca or Qahar or Texas. So you pray in here, and that's a shaira, and they're your representatives, so they slaughter after their Eid prayer. Just like the prayer, you do it on the time, and the same thing for the slaughtering. So the time of the representative, not your time. What is about making the udhiyah in different that country, so you can do it in a cheaper place? The original that You do it in own country, so you could see it, you could eat it, you could move it to some other places because of a need that will be taken to places where there is calamity or those to bring happiness to kinships. But you have to look at the capability. If you can't afford it in your own country, but you can do it in different country, then Allah Azza wa Jal made it easy for you. You don't wanna, if you can't do the adhiyah here, at least you could do it somewhere else. So whatever, then inshallah should be okay. But you need to understand, don't try to be negotiate and try to see which is cheap when it comes for virtues of Islam. You should take the best of the biha, the heavy, because that's your way to your Lord. I can understand in limited areas in to bring happiness to family, but because you are miser and you're trying to see, like you go to all market here to save a dollar here or there, don't do the same thing when you are trying to do virtues of Allah, when you are making udhiyah or anything of that you are trying to please Allah Azza wa Jal. He is the one who gave you the money, and He is the one who gave you the opportunities. But He also guaranteed that whatever you spend in His sake, Allah will compensate it. Allah will compensate it. And He's the best sustainer. Ameen. What is the rule about a game that a child play a game and then if he gets more points, they give him money? Fortnite. If there is no gambling in it and the child is given the money, if he win, he don't lose anything if he did not. So he is not on the gambling that is forbidden, because in gambling, which both parts, one will win and the other one will lose. The loss of one is the winning of the other part. But my son, you should not let our kids leave them that kind of games and what effect it has on his brains or their brains. And it was done very carefully with the enemies of Islam who wants to destroy our youth. Slowly, it's like a poison for the brains, poison for the society. That will take you from what is permissible to what is not permissible. You made him uh, ready for gambling, and this not give our kids a chance to do that. The final question: I work as a writer in the social media. The area where I work at is an institution, and we do uh, the conferences, and I write the timing or and I do certain media or something to promote these activities. But because of the social media, you have to take a picture or design with the, and it could be size, it could be some woman with no hijab. They could see their makeup, or they have. Uh, it's not extremely bad pictures, but it is something that is not Islamically allowed. Or I'll get a video and I will do the words that is taken written underneath the video. Depends on what is it that they need. I might get something and I will change it. Like so and so met so and so. I will take one part out, or I'll put the description of what the trainers are doing. I could write things without knowing what these designs for. It could be something could come, and I don't know. My job is to write and to make sure it is right after you put it on the picture. Also, I need to make sure that it is good what is written underneath the picture or the videos. The pictures and the videos is not my job. My job is to write. Is there anything wrong with what I do? If the content itself don't have anything forbidden, like you're not promoting a casino or some kind of alcohol or a bank. So after that, you look at all the attachment that helps what these advertisements will bring from disobedience to Allah Azza wa Jal. And this is something that it's very widely bad. So you do as much charity as you can to beautify your income. And in the hadith, merchants, the lying and the swearing will testify on your statement. My friend, she's talking about Gaddis Residential. Do you have any idea about them? And do you have a mortgage company to buy the real estate? And then she said, I don't see a difference between that and the normal mortgage companies. So what is your opinion, if you please? They had the finance, Islamic finance, that works on the American agenda or American way. And they had the brains of all these companies. And they heard from their representatives. They did a whole conference in front of people. And I'll tell you what Amjad did say, and so you can understand what it says. So Amjad said the Islamic finance companies to buy the houses, they are divided into three different types. The first one, companies, their contracts in general are in compliance with Sharia. What helps that their contracts does not be sold, uh, which really gives it the freedom to do their contract the way that's following Sharia, without having pressure from different riba companies. But it also observed that there are limited capability. They cannot have houses unless it is just something in the tent. And it is allowed to deal with them and to buy from it. Second type, companies, their contract, they don't want to fall in the very clear river. So they deal with loans, but they allow from different types, like the sale of al-murabaha, that and the partnership that end in ownership, or rent that ends in ownership. And we've seen a lot of these people are concerned to avoid what is forbidden. And they are partners with lawyers who are trying to find ways out. But his contract, some of the things that are forbidden, with the bad conditions. And the contracts also that is based on and looking into what the scholars allowed. So you try to find ways out. So in order to sell what you have, to reach the millions who are in need, and the federal they put restrictions that sells it. They don't allow to do. And the that you can when there's a need, or the one that is lead to it. And they advise to continue to improve their contracts, and whomever able to have something different, then he had chosen what is good. The third type is our companies. They still do riba contract, and their contract, it will be a different copy of the normal riba places. So they don't advise anybody to buy from it. There is an important issue in here that the Amja mentioned. They stress that their fatwa in this era is looking for those who are dealing with these companies. So, so any change in the contract, there's uh, we still looking into the talking about fatwa for those who deal with companies. Didn't come third. We said whenever need and desperate need. What is it? The need what people requires or the society to make it easy and to improve living. If there is burden, it could be different, but the fatwa, they see that the owning the houses is considered a very need for those who live in the United States. But to make the specific one, so we're hoping there's another representative with no harm. Fourth, applying to this into reality. First of all, guidance. It has the way of partnership that ends in completely buying. Their contracts are known, very right, but it has some of the wrongdoing that has to do maintenance and taxes and insurance. Is not distributed in the right way. And the fatwa, because of this, you can deal with it when there's a need and give it the advice to check on those wrong parts of the contract. The first part, the first group, it was Amin Housing. The Sharia, they made a declaration that showed what they have problem with the finance. And because of the contract they used to deal with when it was established, Amin Housing, there's two things. They allow the renter to pay rent, fee, late fee, and at the renter you pay more for maintenance without looking at what actual ones for the maintenance. And after request, they had agreed to take the late fee. Fees is discarded, and then they agreed to make it a fair distribution of the responsibilities. And now we can see that they have fulfilled all the concerns that we have from Sharia point of view. Devon Bank, they deal with two types of contracts in Islamic. The first one, murabiha, and there's a problem with who is the real owner to the state before you sell it back, because you cannot sell what you don't have. This, in addition, they have some of the part that is forbidden. Like your representative, you bring me, you, we take the compensation from the insurance and you just pay the payment. And the bank had the right to freeze everything if they thought that he's not going to be able to pay. Even though the inheritance, they could take care of the contract after his death. And the Amjad, they advise that you work in correcting the parts that we have problems, so you could have the ownership of the state before you sell it, and avoid the problem. The other one is the rent that enter with. There's different violations, because they have two different types of contract to sell and to do merchant. On merchant fiqh, they said there's a conflict of interest. So each one will be different. So it has to be truthful, not just like it has to be true. Second thing, uh, the bank don't really take care of the maintenance part, and they make the renter pay for all of that, even though they take all compensate all the and the fatwa is nothing wrong with working with the company if there's a desperate need for it. And they stress the bank to corrected that idea to separate between the two types of contract and to stay away from all the voided or wording. The second bank is UIF, University Islamic Foundation on financing. On the contract on this, to make profit, and what we have mentioned before, so they have the same rule. So after that, Ajara loan, that company, what they do, they take the person to another riba place. They do this fake company, so they will look like a real estate transaction. And they separate the contract after that. So they had the riba contract, then they became partners at the end. So it's first it directs you to a very riba, then they put a company that he will be partner of. So they take from the bank and on the state, then they sell it again with the rental that into ownership. So he had the and we said they cannot deal with these companies because that's what it has of riba, and they ask those who are on it to look into their own just so a friend of mine, she said that Allah hates her because she is not successful in her life, studying, not married. She said not out of envy or bad eye. This is from the shaitan's work. The best in calamity are the prophets and the messengers. Subhanallah. Allah, He wants good for him. The person, so you're always as a human being, you're going between patience and gratefulness. And the Prophet ﷺ said, it's amazing is the matter of the Muslims. And that's only for the Muslim. If something happen, he's thankful or he'll be patient. So be careful, my daughter, my son, to accuse Allah on his actions. Let's accuse ourselves, our shortcoming, our misunderstanding, our foolishness, our wrong understanding, our wrong contemplation, but don't accuse Allah. He's the one who has the great names and the absolute power, and His work does not. So ask Allah Azza wa Jal to hold your heart and to these are days of goodness, of happiness. Those are your days. And Allah wants you to have entertain yourself and what's in something that does not make Allah angry. The Shafi'i to say it's not uh, respect to Allah. You are doing it for entertaining and those who are around you. That's why they said there is the etiquette of time. Is it true to the day of marriage to talk about the death and what happened? He's about to open his life and but didn't choose the time to discuss that question. So bring that joy to yourself and to your family. At the time of gathering, at the same time, don't go out of the obedience of Allah. Just a normal entertainment. So be like what the Prophet ﷺ said, that there is an ease in our religion. When the Ahbash, they came in almost naked and they're using their spears, doing their and they celebrate. So he asked Aisha if she wants to look. How much I want that. So he stood and he put her cheek on his cheek and he put his garment on her and let her look until she is fulfilled. She said, "Are you finished?" No. Twice again, no. And she had enough, but she wanted the wives of the Prophet to know, I want to get ahead a message that the one who stood me and did not move until I am finished is me, Aisha, to all the wives of the Prophet to show her status with the Prophet. The Ahbash, they came with their spears, they're happy. All of a sudden, the Umar came in, and he's a very tough, rough person. He took some stones. He said, "Is this done in the house of in the Masjid of the Prophet ﷺ?" He told them, "No, leave them. These are the people of Arfada." And he told them, "Peace, peace, sons of Arfada. Play, do your job." So Jews will know there is ease in our religion. By Allah who sent me with a true monotheism, they can still call him. They cannot express their joy. They said Muhammad is a righteous person, good person. They try to compliment the Prophet ﷺ. This is from the traditions of the Prophet ﷺ, where he allowed them at the day of Eid in his masjid to express their happiness in their way, in their language. And it's covered in the masjid. So the Jews will know, and let everybody knows that there is a way out in our religion. Is the mention of Allah accepted at the judgment? Yes. Don't sin and think that the remembrance of dhikr is there. If the person committed a sin, it will be like a blood cut. It will cover his house and keep coming until it covers his heart. And be careful. If you didn't stop on the sins, it will be very hard to remember Allah. It will be very tough on your tongue and you will not be successful. It's a sustenance from Allah and you are prevented from it because of a sin. And don't think it is Allah's grace is only on sustenance, is only money. No, and the good deeds in the obedience of Allah. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك نستغفرك ونتوب إليك.